Okay, sixth grade, we're going to continue with the animal portrait theme. I guess this time not really a portrait though. We're going to draw the whole animal, a wolf. Not just part of the wolf, the whole wolf. Also, another difference is that I've used marker in this drawing. Use a thin black marker to add to the drawing. If you want to, you can do the whole thing with pencil instead. I just wanted to give you a different option and show you a different technique this time as well. We're using a technique called foreshortening in this picture. So I'm going to explain a little bit about that before we get started. So before we get into the actual drawing this week, I want to explain the concept of foreshortening and what that means in an artistic sense. When you foreshorten something, it means that you change the angle that you're viewing it from. You change the angle to a very sharp angle. Okay, so I can explain that much better with some pictures. So let's start with like a sort of side view of the animal that we're going to draw, which is a wolf this week. So we can use like we always do, like shapes to kind of picture the animal first. And I'm gonna imagine the wolf in these three shapes. That's a little bit scrappy, but yeah, the general idea. The back leg there, and the front leg there, and the tail, and the head of the animal, like this. Sort of looks a bit wolfy, doesn't it? It's wolfy enough. The idea is we're seeing directly from the side these three shapes. When we turn the angle that we view the wolf, those three shapes change. They become foreshortened. Okay. All right. So it's sort of the whole thing changes. We get to see the other front leg as well, of course. There's the back leg. There's the other back leg, and here's the head. So what's happened is the angle that we're viewing it from has changed, and the wolf has become foreshortened. Okay, so we've used this technique. We've used the technique of foreshortening to create this essentially what is an illusion. It's to give the effect of depth on a flat piece of paper. So the wolf that we're going to draw is going to be very foreshortened. It's going to be almost like a front view with just a little bit of the side of the body. So we could say it's kind of extreme foreshortening. We're going to start by drawing those kind of sketchy guidelines, of course. But first we need to kind of roughly measure a kind of halfway point through the page. And that's important because that's going to be the division between the body of the wolf and the legs of the wolf. They need to take up almost the same amount of space. So this is where the bottom of the body is going to come along this line, and then the legs will come down from that line. So let's draw the back of the wolf first. We're going to put in a shape that's sort of something like this. That's going to be the hind quarters, the hind part of the leg. And then we've got this other circle, this other curving line, I should say. This is going to be the back, and this is the chest of the wolf here. And then a final curving line. This is where the kind of front part of the wolf starts. This will be the front leg, pretty much, and where the neck and head will be. So two front legs here and here, and this will be the space for the neck and the head, kind of in this area. Back legs will be here. Okay, so the these construction lines are very kind of sketchy, and it's likely that we'll need to erase and to change things as I add in more of the wolf's body. Watch how I might need to make adjustments, and you might need to do the same as well. You might need to erase things and change things, so that everything looks right and correct and in proportion. Now, when you get to this stage in the drawing, it's time to work in the more definite lines that that we want to keep. We're going to start thinking about losing the guidelines, and then finally adding shading. This week I'm going to change things a little bit by using a black marker. If you want to continue with a pencil, that's absolutely fine. It's a safer option because of course you can still erase the pencil, even though you're going to be pressing harder at this stage to really make some definite choices about the lines that you want to keep. You can still erase it with a pencil, of course. But just to give you the option to show you what it looks like with a marker, I'm going to try that this time. And I'm going to go for an approach that while it uses some outlines, we're also going to use some kind of expressive lines with the marker too, to kind of show the fur in some places. Okay, so it's not going to be as simple as just an outline with the marker this time. Whoops, I made a mistake. I forgot to press record and went on to the next stage of the drawing. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, it's not a complete disaster. You can see the work that I've done. You just haven't seen me doing it. But the important thing, and I hope you can see, is that in places I have used firm outlines, and in other places I haven't. I've used these kind of broken lines to show the edges of the fur. Alright? Next thing I'm going to do is erase all the guidelines so I can see what I've got more clearly with marker, and then I'm going to use a combination of the marker and the pencil to add more shading and different tones and textures to my picture. And there we go, the eyes are the finishing touch. The picture is complete. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this challenge, not only to draw a realistic looking animal, but also to use this technique of foreshortening. Don't forget to share your work, can't wait to see what you've done. And have fun as always.